At 78 years old, Sally Field has nothing left to prove. 2 Oscars, decades of unforgettable roles, and a reputation as one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses. But behind the applause and heartfelt performances lies a side of Sally the public rarely sees. A side that remembers every betrayal, every insult, and every co-star who crossed the line. Now, with the weight of age and wisdom behind her, Sally Field is finally ready to reveal the names of the 6 actors she hated the most. These weren't petty spats or fleeting disagreements. These were deep, bruising clashes, some on set, others behind the scenes, that shaped the course of her career and haunted her long after the cameras stopped rolling. You might think you know Hollywood, but this list will change everything. Let's begin with the heartbreaker, Burt Reynolds. Their romance was tabloid gold. Sally Field and Burt Reynolds were the power couple of the late 70s. On screen, they were electric, charming, playful, and irresistibly charismatic. Smokey and the Bandit became a cultural phenomenon, in part because their chemistry seemed so real. But behind the curtain, the truth was far more unsettling. Sally once called Burt controlling, a man who thrived on dominance and dismissed anyone who threatened his spotlight. He constantly belittled her, mocked her looks, questioned her intelligence, and subtly but cuttingly diminished her acting ability. He'd offer backhanded compliments in interviews, then return home to icy silences or passive-aggressive remarks. In her memoir, In Pieces, Sally peeled back the glossy Hollywood veneer and revealed how Burt wouldn't allow her to speak freely. He'd interrupt her mid-sentence and override her decisions. Both professionally and personally, he wanted her next to him, smiling, silent. She described feeling like a prized possession, something to be shown off, not someone to be cherished. Worse, he manipulated her emotions. 1 minute, charming and affectionate, the next, withholding love as punishment. Over time, her sense of self began to erode. Even at the height of her fame, she often felt invisible standing beside him. "I never felt truly seen," she admitted. "I was there, but not me, not the full me." Despite the years they spent together, Sally later confessed she was never sure who the real Burt Reynolds even was. The man the public adored was not the one who came home at night. And yet, she tried. She gave everything she could to make it work. "I wanted to love him. I did love him," she admitted. "But he hurt me. To the world, he was the bandit, a charming rogue. But to Sally, he was heartbreak in disguise. And he was only the beginning." Next came the egomaniac, Tommy Lee Jones. On the set of Backroads, Sally Field arrived with high hopes. It was a gritty, offbeat script, a chance to dig into a character with real depth. She was ready to collaborate, to create something meaningful. But instead of connection, she was met with a wall of silence. That wall's name was Tommy Lee Jones. From day one, Sally described him as dismissive, not just professionally, but personally. He barely acknowledged her during rehearsals, offered no small talk, and refused to engage in the usual actor-to-actor back and forth that builds trust on a demanding shoot. He came to set, hit his marks, delivered his lines, and left. No warmth, no respect, just ice for an actress who had built her career on emotional authenticity and open-hearted performances. Jones's behavior was disorienting. She wasn't just acting opposite a cold character, she was acting opposite a cold person. Co-stars are supposed to lift each other up. He made her feel like dead weight. Sally later revealed she tried to initiate conversation between takes, ask questions about their characters, even crack light jokes to ease the tension. Jones wouldn't bite. Sometimes he wouldn't even look at her. She said he treated her as though she didn't belong on set with him, as if she were beneath him. When Backroads was released, critics panned the film, citing a lack of chemistry between the leads. What the public didn't know was the real problem wasn't the script. It was the emotional chill between takes. Sally once said, "We were supposed to play 2 broken people learning to love, but I was playing alone." Though she remained professional throughout filming, she admitted the experience drained her. The set wasn't just cold, it was isolating. For Sally, who thrives on connection, that kind of emotional distance felt like sabotage. After Backroads, she never worked with Tommy Lee Jones again. And when asked about the experience in later years, she never lashed out. But the subtle frost in her words said enough. She never forgot how cold a set could feel. But not all her feuds were silent. The scene stealer, Robert Blake. During their time filming Say Goodbye, Maggie Cole, Sally Field came face to face with one of the most volatile personalities she'd ever encountered. Robert Blake, known for his intense method acting and erratic mood swings, didn't just bring unpredictability to his performances, he brought it to every corner of the set. From the start, Sally struggled to find rhythm. Blake would change lines without warning, go off script mid-scene, and sabotage carefully planned takes by throwing in unscripted behavior. What might have seemed like creative spontaneity to him, Sally saw as pure chaos. She accused him of undermining her at every turn, not just in front of the camera, but behind it as well. Worse, his behavior wasn't limited to her. Crew members reported frequent outbursts, verbal tirades, and sudden mood shifts that created a hostile environment for everyone involved. One day, he'd be quiet and focused, the next shouting at a lighting technician or storming off set over a minor disagreement. Sally, already balancing the pressures of a demanding role, found herself playing peacekeeper just to keep the production afloat. But it was a losing battle. The tension bled into every scene, and the cracks soon became impossible to hide. Eventually, the project collapsed. The film was shelved before it ever made it to air, a casualty of on-set dysfunction that had spiraled out of control. For most actors, that would have been a professional setback. But for Sally, it was deeper. She later described the experience not just as disappointing, but traumatic. "There are actors who act," she said, "and there are actors who try to make everyone else small so they feel big." Blake was the second kind. The words weren't just sharp, they were personal. They carried the weight of a woman who had endured more than just artistic differences. She walked away from Say Goodbye, Maggie Cole with one vow. Never again would she tolerate chaos disguised as genius. But not all feuds started on set. Some began during awards season. The bitter rival, Shirley MacLaine. The world saw Sally Field and Shirley MacLaine as a dream duo in Steel Magnolias, but behind the scenes, tension simmered. Sally sought emotional honesty as a grieving mother, while Shirley treated the set like a battlefield, bragging, dismissing direction, and undercutting Sally's performance with sarcastic quips. It wasn't just a clash of styles, it was a clash of egos. Shirley needed to dominate, while Sally just wanted to tell the story. The pain lasted long after filming ended. Next was James Woods, who turned a light romantic comedy into psychological warfare, constantly challenging the script and criticizing Sally off camera, making her feel small in a male-dominated industry. She called the experience a psychological minefield and vowed never again to be silenced by condescension disguised as brilliance. Finally, Dustin Hoffman humiliated Sally during a chemistry read, dominating the room, interrupting her repeatedly, and bragging about sabotaging her audition. It was cruel and unprofessional, a power play that deeply wounded her. Sally called it one of her most humiliating moments and vowed never to work with arrogance disguised as genius again. Sally Field's journey reveals the hidden battles behind Hollywood's glitter: pain, resilience, and strength. At 78, she shows us that success doesn't shield from hurt, but it can teach us to reclaim our power. Maybe that's the most unforgettable role of all. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos, and don't forget to press the bell icon.